Well, I also want the last 7 minutes, and actually well, I'll do it that way. I don't need to type it again.
So if he's not there, just leave a voicemail.
Is Tim Riley in?
One moment. Hello, you've reached the desk of Sheriff Tim Riley. I'm unable to take your call right now. If you leave your name, number, and a short message, I'll call you back as soon as I can. Thank you and have a great day. After the tone, please record your message. When finished, you may hang up to deliver the message or press pound for more options.
Hi, this is Kathy Tangen. I received the dash cam video of that fog line stop, and it doesn't have any sound on it. I was wondering why it didn't have sound. Normally they're supposed to have sound. So could you just get back to me and let me know why it didn't have sound to it? My cell number is 320-766-6757. Thank you. Bye. Okay, it is November 28th at 3:27 p.m.
Okay, what?
Hello? Hello?
Kathy,
Yep.
this is Tim Riley. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Got your message. I checked on Josh, and his charger in the recorder was in the charger when he stopped you. They go dead really fast, so he had thrown it in the charger and he didn't have it on his belt yet. That's all.
So it's working, it just wasn't charged up.
Right.
Oh, and so they just switch them out. They have a couple of chargers they have with them or something.
No, they only have one recorder.
Oh, it's not attached. It's not. Oh, sorry. It's not attached to the video then.
No, because it wasn't on. The recorder was being charged.
Oh, so the recorder and the video can work independent. Oh. Okay. And did you send? Do you have 2 requests for data on that, or just the first one?
Whatever Neil sent to us.
Okay. So I'm not sure what they call it, but is it an ICR report?
Oh yeah.
Is that still coming, or?
Didn't you get that with what you picked up already? That was in there.
Oh, what I noticed was the MDT and the video.
Wasn't there another little piece of paper? Was one piece of paper was probably printing on half of it.
Okay, I'll look again.
Okay. You can check, but I thought I saw it in the file with the video actually.
Okay.
The CD was attached to it.
Okay. I'll look again.
Okay. If it's not there, let me know.
Okay. Well, I was just curious because normally I thought the sound was with the video, but.
Yeah, well, it is. Unless the audio recorder is being charged.
Okay. And then I noticed pretty much right at the end, I'd asked for, I think it's an hour after the stop, and it's about 7 minutes short of the hour, and it's right at the end, right.
There's probably nothing on it.
Oh, what I was gonna say was right at the end of it sounds like right when they were pretty much talking about, the conversation was about me at the very end, and the last word was seriously, and so right after that there's nothing. And I was just wondering if there's more than that in that conversation.
That's it. And you can't use your own expressions for words that you read. It's like texting. That's why it's so difficult for people, and they get in arguments all the time. It seriously was like he didn't understand why. Because he gave you a warning, and there was nothing further happening with it. And so, there was nothing after that.
Oh, well, and the reason why is, and I told him right away, I said, I don't think I went over it at all.
Okay. Could you see in the video that you did?
I couldn't see in the video that I did either. In fact, from what it looks like, it appears, you know, when you're way far back, you can't see anything anyways. He was quite a ways back.
The video's deceiving because it's so small. You put it on a big screen, you'd be able to see it.
Oh, so like, does it play in a regular DVD player then, too?
I don't know.
Okay, because the only big screen we'd have is like our TV, which I'd have to play it in a DVD. You know, in the computer, it seemed very obvious that I wasn't weaving for sure. I wasn't weaving side to side.
Okay, well, I watched it and I saw you moving off to the right twice.
Okay, because several people looked at it and they said they couldn't see it either.
Yeah.
So.
What are you trying to get at? I mean, you didn't get a ticket for it.
Because I don't.
Honestly, if you got a ticket, I'd understand.
Honestly, I don't believe that I really went over the fog line and he just wanted to stop me.
Why would he do that? He had other things to do. He didn't even know who you were, Kathy. Right?
I don't know. I guess the question I'd ask is, where was he right before that?
I have no idea. I don't even know where you got stopped at.
Well, I had just left Terry's place.
Whose?
Terry Nimmers. I just left Gail and Terry Nimmers' place.
We would have no idea of that, Kathy. Absolutely no idea. We'd have no reason to know that.
Well, anyways, the only thing that concerned me is I didn't, and I told him that right away. And if the recording was on, you would have heard me say, I didn't go near the fog line, and I didn't. And I said to him, I said, I know for sure I didn't hit the rumble strip thing. And he goes, you didn't? Like, are you crazy? You know, like, and I'm like, what are you trying to get at here? I mean, I know when I hit the rumble strips for sure. And
right, and keep in mind that there's no rumble strips at intersections or driveways.
No, that's not where I was stopped. I wasn't stopped. I wasn't stopped on 28 by Nimmers. I had just left there, and then when I got on 29 is where I was stopped.
Okay.
And there was no cars around me anywhere in sight. And then all of a sudden he's flying behind me, so where'd he come from?
Okay, I don't know. But the point is, you didn't get a ticket for it, so there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Well, there is something wrong if they stop me for really no reason at all.
Okay, we don't need to discuss it then.
That what?
I said, okay, that's you, you can do whatever you need. I mean, if he gave you a ticket, I could understand it, because that's the evidence for him. But you weren't cited for anything. And with you telling him that you didn't cross the center line, maybe he believed you, maybe he thought he saw something wrong.
No, it wasn't the center line. It was the fog line.
Fog line, exactly.
But you just said center line. So.
I'm sorry, I meant fog line. But if you told him that you didn't cross it, maybe he thought he saw something he didn't see. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, anyways, that's all I'm concerned about is that he knew he didn't stop me for any reason.
Well, he wouldn't have stopped you if he didn't feel initially that he had a reason. Like I say, looking at the video, it looked to me like the car was over not completely over on the shoulder, but I could see that it moved over to the right, where it would have crossed the center line. Now, like I said,
So did you watch it on a big screen?
No, I just watched it on a small, 4x4 computer. Whatever it showed probably on your computer.
Okay.
But if you watch a lot of those, you kind of figure out when things are moving, what they're looking like. And just by looking at the small video, I thought maybe you were over the fog line.
Yeah, it's really obvious because if you watch it, I'm not going back and forth as far as weaving. So I was either on the fog line the entire time, like I would have never moved because I was not weaving back and forth. So I was either driving on the fog line all the time, or I just wasn't driving on it all the time. And as you got closer to me, you could see I was a ways away from the fog line when it got real close, and you could see the tires like. So it's really obvious if I wasn't moving around and I was steady, except for there was a little bit of a curve. There's a curve in the road that I turned a little bit, but as far as not counting the curves, I wasn't weaving in my lane at all.
Right, and you were given, and he just told, I don't even know what he said to you, but he didn't give you a ticket though.
Well, and that's why it's like, well, have you ever heard of a malicious stop before?
Yeah, from Terry and you. I've never heard of it from anybody else.
Okay. So this is only about Terry then?
No, you just asked me a question. I've never heard that come from anywhere else.
Never in your life have you ever heard of somebody ever being stopped, not heard of, not in Pope County, but just in general, that a cop has never stopped somebody for no reason.
I thought you were talking about the words that you just used, the malicious stop. That I've never heard. Yes, I have heard of other people stopping cars for no reason, and I don't agree with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the only concern I have is that, I've had people in 1 week almost kill me with a vehicle, well, right in front of Neil's house, and over there on the Fairgrounds Road, and nothing's been done about it. And I'm like driving safely on the road, really not doing anything wrong, and I get stopped to the point where, and I don't know if this is normal, but he put that spotlight on, and I couldn't even see looking straight ahead. If I would have, it was like blinding, and my eyes, and he kept going, "Are you all right? Are you?" And I'm like going, "I can't see nothing." There was so much spotlight on me. It was like, it's like he was trying to make it very dramatic. And I thought, I can't see anything because there's so much light. And that's not normal either.
We do that for our safety because we don't know who's in that car and who can have a gun, who doesn't have a gun. It's done for our safety, for the officer's safety.
Well, if you're bringing up safety, that sound recording is safety to me, and it's safety to him too. So why isn't the sound on for safety?
It was in a charger. The battery was dead. It wasn't going to record anything.
But that's not...
He didn't intend on stopping you. He happened to see what he thought was you crossing the center line, or the fog line, I'm sorry, and he made a traffic stop. He didn't know who was in that car.
Well, and that's what I'm not sure about. And I'm not sure about the fact that in 1 week, I've called the dispatch twice about somebody recklessly driving in front of 2nd Street Northeast, and somebody almost killing me on the Fairgrounds Road. And it's like it's just a big joke.
Those calls are given to the police department and the state patrol. In the county, as far as that goes.
Well,
Something like that, Kathy, is given out to the appropriate agency.
the appropriate agency was John Olson the second time, supposedly supposed to go talk to the person who I identified their car, and just because he's off of work for just about the whole week conveniently, nothing's going to be done about it. Nobody's calling me and saying...
I can't answer any questions for the police department because I don't know what they do over there. Rather than seeing what's going on.
Well, the point is, when we called John Olson, he hadn't even been called. I called dispatch and said what happened. I talked to Jackie, and I thought, you know, it was all on the up and up, and then nobody calls, nobody says anything, and then Neil, my husband, calls John Olson, and he said nobody's even told him about it. He didn't even know.
Okay. Well, I can look into that.
So that's what the feeling is like, well, obviously anything that I say happened, which is actually, you know, was definitely life-threatening. Nothing's being done about it. They won't even go talk to the person and ask them, you know, about it.
Right. Who is it?
I don't know. They won't tell me who it is. I identified the car, and I know by sight the person, but I don't know their name.
Okay. Well, I can check with John too, because I know Dale's up for a while.
Well, anyways, that's the only thing that feels like is the big contradictions going on there. And, you know, when you're driving safely and you get stopped and then you call in for, you know, life-threatening situation and nothing's being done, you wonder if it's just me. Is it just me?
No, you can't think like that. Kathy, have I ever done anything wrong to you? Kathy?
Not that I know of.
Okay. That's not who I am. If there's something that's not right, I'll take care of it. And I think we've had that conversation before. You're not being singled out by anybody. A lot of the guys here are new enough that they don't know who you are. I mean, I've known you for 20 years. I know who you are. I'll stay high to you if I see you.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried if, you know, and actually there's one of them I didn't even report. There's been 3 reckless drivers in 1 week that have been life-threatening situation. One of them I didn't even call, because the 2 I called in, nothing happened anyways. And actually the first one, Jim Kahn called me back, and it was a Pizza Ranch car that almost rolled on 2nd Street Northeast right after heading south. And he called me and asked me what I wanted done about it. If I just want him to talk to him, or I want a charge, or, you know, it was almost like he was willing to do whatever it took to get to the bottom of it. And I said, well, just talk to him and tell him to slow down, you know, at that point. And then on the second one, where I was actually in my vehicle and almost got killed with the car almost hitting me, now John Olson is saying, I can't even talk to her. I can't go up to her and even ask her a question. And so from 1 week, one person saying, what do you want done about this? And the second one saying, I can't even go up to her and ask her about the situation. I can't even talk to her about it. And I'm like, are you kidding? She almost killed me, and you can't even go up and ask her about, you know, was she late for school? Was it, you know, just ask her a couple questions, or verify it at school. Was she a little bit late at school? Whatever. He said he can't even ask her a question. So I'm starting to go, okay, so I get stopped for doing nothing wrong, and then two times where I, you know, and, you know, it's starting to feel like, you know, it may seem nothing to you, but it starts making me wonder. You know, I called in and asked to be on the roadkill list for deer because I really like venison, and Neil honestly doesn't like to shoot animals. And so I thought, and I used to be on the list. 2 o'clock in the morning, they used to call me, and I'd go gut out a deer on the side of the road, you know, and I did it a lot when I was younger. And so I thought, well, gee, I could just get back on that list again. I could get venison. And I keep seeing all these deer around, and I've called in every time I've seen it, and they're like 2-3 days old. Nobody's called me. And finally I find another one by the Easy Does It, and I call in, and it's a perfectly good doe, and nobody called me. And I'm like, geez, am I on the list or not? And they checked, yeah, you're on the list. And I'm like, well, why don't they call me? Geez, I was like, as the crow flies, like a block away from there. And I'm like, so is that just another thing that they just don't like me?
No, yes, I can tell you about that. People that, we don't even hear about a lot of the cars, the deer that get hit by cars anymore. The ones we hear about are the cars they built that can't move, you can't drive them anymore, or the people want to take the deer themselves. And we used to get the calls like you're talking about years ago where, oh, I hit a deer over in this area, so we'd go check on it, there it is. We'd call somebody to go pick it up. We don't get a lot of those calls anymore. But especially for the ones in town, I can certainly let the police department know that if they come across one, to give you a call. You know, it's difficult. We're not in the same building anymore. We don't know. We don't share a lot of that information. It's like you're talking about the traffic stop that you were involved in, and then the police department, and you calling it complaints with the police department on traffic. They don't know they don't know that you were stopped by a deputy unless they happen to be working that night and maybe heard radio traffic. Otherwise, nobody's gonna know.
Why didn't I didn't call the city police about that.
Okay.
I called the city police about being almost hit by this car on the Fairgrounds Road.
Right. Was that the second or is that a third one now?
Well, it's the third time of a endangerment of somebody's vehicle going, in town. And they said, John Olson said, well, we'll patrol that road a little bit more, and there's been nobody on it ever since.
Okay.
So I guess I start feeling like, well, the stuff that I say is gonna be yeah.
Okay. I keep hearing a noise. Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm on the side of the road. I don't know what to say.
Okay. Alright. Well, I can let you go, Kathy, okay? But to answer your very first question, the recorder was in the charger, and it was not recording audio. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I can let you go, though, so you can get going, okay?
Well, what I'm saying is that the thought is that it's going to be a joke no matter when I call.
I can tell you it's not going to be a joke. Okay? I mean, there's dispatchers here that know your name. They don't know you. And there's probably a part-timer or two that don't know who you and have never even heard your name before. You can't think like this. Okay? You have just as much rights as everybody else out there does. If you call in a complaint, it's going to be followed up on. Okay? So please don't think like that.
Well, and even this teacher that could have and John Olson said, oh, it couldn't be the teacher, because the teacher, and I said right away too, I agreed with him. I like, oh, probably wasn't her. But when I went out and ID'd the car, I'm like, that's the car, and it was the teacher's car. And so we called back, and I said, that's the one, that's the car, and it's too bad if it's a teacher. And I would, I don't go around wanting to hurt anybody, or especially if they're a teacher at the school. But if that's what happened, and I'm sure I'm not out to get them. In fact, what I felt like doing is the funeral that I just went to in November of a 11-year-old girl because of unattentive driving, a very good close friend of mine who's died now. I thought, well, you know what, if she could at least admit what she did and she's sorry, I'd like her to just watch the video of the funeral. That would be something that I would like her to do. I'm not out to like smear people, bother people, but I do like to live, and I don't want to be hurt, and I just want it to be fair.
you know, if she can admit that, you know, geez, I was late for work. Yep, my car rocked back and forth. I almost hit you. You know, I don't even care if she's charged. I just would like her to admit it and say, geez, you know, I'll be more careful next time.
Right.
So, but when it, you know, because it's a teacher, it's like they won't even go talk to her.
That shouldn't matter. She should be talked to anyway.
And you know, there's a slight chance, not very big one at this point, but there's a slight chance it's not even her.
Right.
But it's the car that looked exactly like it, and you know, and I identified quite a few different things about it. But there's still a chance that it wasn't her.
Were you able? I'm sorry, but were you able to get a license plate number?
No, I wasn't, and that was the weird thing is that it would happen so fast, and I tried to look at the plate, but it was like within seconds all this happened.
Right.
And when I went out to the school, because I knew she was heading out to the school or whatever, they were headed that way, and it looked like younger people, and I just thought, well, they're probably late for school, so I went out and looked. And the reason why it was confusing is the front plate has the regular license plate, and then underneath it, it has the fireman plate underneath it.
Okay.
So, you know, and I thought, well, if it's because, you know, their husband's a fireman, you know, and you know, and all that I went through with the lightning strike and stuff, and what we've gone through with all that, and the fire trucks that were there, I'm like, I would never want to hurt any one of them. But at least if, you know, everybody is capable of doing something wrong. And if they could just say, I'm sorry, you know, geez, you know, I didn't mean to almost kill you. You know, I'll be careful next time, that's all. But because they're a fireman or they're a teacher, or, you know, that they won't even go talk to them.
Yeah, doesn't exempt you from anything.
That what?
I said that doesn't exempt you from anything.
Well, anyways, that's what's been going on, and that's why when I got stopped, and I just happened to be at Terry's, and I don't really call it Terry's, it's Gail's place, but that's where I was, and Gail is just as much a friend of mine as anybody else. And so I'm thinking, you know, if some of this is just because they've seen him around me more lately or what, but, you know.
No, I can tell you no. Nobody keeps an eye on you. Nobody watches you. Nobody watches for you. You know, family takes care of family. It's not our boat and watch for Kathy to see where she's driving. We don't do that, Kathy. That's not who we are.
Well, anyways, that's what the feeling has been in the last couple weeks, and that's why I, you know, scrutinized it more this time, thinking what's really happening, or why is some of this happening. But anyway, that's all.
Okay. All right. Well, it was nice talking with you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Kathy. Bye-bye.
That was Tim Riley. He called me, and the call ended at 8:53 p.m. and it's November 29th, 2012.